Always a pleasure. Now, as you absolutely have seen over the past 6 days, tensions continue escalating between Iran and Israel. And it's now getting to a point where we're seeing the prospects of the United States entering this conflict and perhaps launching military-scale attacks also on Iran in support of Israel. We see these signs because over the past few days, we do know that US President Donald Trump was in Canada at the meeting of the G7, but did leave early because of the escalating tensions. And now with the tweets and the messages that we've been seeing from his accounts and also the rhetoric coming from his administration, how likely do you think it is that the United States will intervene in this war and take it just another notch higher?
Well, thank you for that question. About 4 years ago, on this very program, you asked me to name the 2 most dangerous people in the world. And I didn't hesitate to name Netanyahu and the Ayatollah in Iran. Of course, at that time, I don't think that Donald Trump was the president of the United States, or else I would have asked to be allowed to name 3 most dangerous people, and I would have put him there. You see, in diplomacy, the most dangerous time for everyone is when you cannot predict the behavior of the people you are dealing with, especially the behavior of the most powerful man in the world, which is Donald Trump. One could predict Netanyahu, and one could predict the Ayatollahs in Iran. But Donald Trump is unpredictable. Now, you are attending a meeting of, again, probably the most powerful nations in the world. And what do? You abandon them and you come back to Washington. Now, nothing really had happened between your leaving Washington for Alberta in Canada and when you decide to leave them. You just wanted, he loves these games, he loves this play. You now wanted to put the world on the alert that you are about to do something unpredictable. And you are quite right. What the whole world is now thinking is the United States about to jump into the fight between Israel and Iran? And you could take the way his language has changed. You say, they think we're all fools. Some of us went to school, even if Donald Trump, didn't go to, I don't think he went to university. That's why he's so mad with Harvard, because they didn't admit him. You started off deceiving us by saying you were not really consulted. Then it became, they did it and informed us. But they didn't say we approved it. And now the language has become, we have conquered the airspace of Iran. In other words, who are the we? Israel and the United States.
Professor, if I may throw in my question as well. Reports are that the Iranian parliament is currently preparing a bill that could pave the way for Iran to exit the Treaty of the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons. What are the broader implications of this, especially with other member states of these organizations? We're seeing, a decline in some of these global organizations that represent various countries, where we see global cooperation on various issues and so forth. How vital do you think the Treaty of the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons is?
Thank you. The Non-Proliferation Treaty has never really been one of my own favorite treaties, simply because what it does is the poor, weak countries are logged into that weak status, while the important and powerful countries are asked to have the monopoly of nuclear weapons. And I've never believed in any country having a culture that gives it the monopoly of nuclear weapons. I have never been, whether before I became a minister, while I was a minister, and even now. It's sheer hypocrisy. I know, I listen to your program, and that's the favorite word of Rafi Hosseini. Sheer hypocrisy of the Western countries. If you're on their side, you probably can get away with even breaking that monopoly and getting away with it. India has done so, Pakistan has done so, and there are other countries that even Israel has done so, but without admitting it. So why should you say some countries have the right to have a monopoly of nuclear weapons and others do not? Countries that want to break the monopoly, just make sure you are not against the United States, or you are not against one of the minions of the United States. You will get away with it. But the point I was trying to make before we got cut off is it is against international law to threaten to assassinate the head of state. And incidentally, it is also against American law. You remember the Senator Churchill that was put on when it became evident that the CIA has been busy assassinating people all over the world. Senator Churchill was asked to set up a committee, and arising out of that committee, it was decided that it was against American law to assassinate or threaten to assassinate a head of state. And here is an American president saying to the Ayatollah, who is the head of state of Iran, we know where you are and our patience is running out. What does that mean? That you are going to go out and yet if they want to assassinate you, oh well, then the whole world and hell will break down upon their head. I think that the United States, rather than being an agent of peace and reconciliation, in fact is the one that has, by giving Israel the nod to go ahead and do what it has to do with Iran, is the one who is about to precipitate world war.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof, for your insight. And only to think the Republicans and Trump claim that they don't want wars, but they are setting the tone and they are beating the drum of war. Prof, I want to take you back historically. The same America, when they were in bed with the Shah, started the nuclear program of Iran in something called Atom for Peace program. All of a sudden, the same America felt it was not right after the Iranian Revolution and the Shah left. Israel, there are intelligence that Israel has actually got a nuclear program. When are we going to leave this world of double standards based on the hegemony of America as created by the likes of Kissinger? When is the world going to evolve from this world of double standards? That's my question, Prof.
Thank you. The world is never going, it is diplomacy, double standards. The weak gets clobbered and the strong get the world was created, and it will continue to be like it. And that's why some of us had always emphasized the need to have power, to build your own state on power. That is not to say that you should ignore your economy. In fact, the stronger your economy is, the stronger the power base of your country can be. I was a postgraduate student when India and China were no countries. In fact, they were looked down upon in the United States. The moment China was the first one to try and build its own atomic base, and then India followed, and then Pakistan followed. Respect. You should see the way the indices of respect for these countries shot up in the United States. So that is what you're talking about. And in my answer to the lady who asked me the question, that's what I was trying to say, that the Non-Proliferation Treaty is a gimmick to keep the weak that may challenge the power of the United States, to keep them down, while those who may be on the side of the United States, to allow them to get away. I opposed when Nigeria signed the Non-Proliferation Treaty. Unfortunately, we are still a signatory to that treaty, and it's not going to do us any good.
Okay, Prof.
Unless we want to be happy to stay as we are.
Prof, real quickly, in the 80s, you called for Nigeria to have its own bomb. A lot of people mocked you. In fact, I remember some cartoonists did draw cartoons about, Professor Akinyemi calling for Nigeria bomb when people have not eaten and they are hungry. They mocked you. Famous cartoonists did mock you then. With all of this happening and how the weak is being trampled upon, would you say that your call is vindicated now?
Of course it is vindicated. In fact, there were people who said I should have my head examined. But I must say also that General Babangida supported me. General Abacha supported me, because they found no reason why we should be among the weak nations of the world. But it's the scholars in the university who were opposed to me, who thought I needed to have my head examined. Now I've been vindicated.